So, ladies and gents, here we are. We are in the final round of 12 series before we move on to the big quarterfinals tomorrow. We've got Villese, who is in second place in Group B here, playing as the Mongols to start off the series on Graveyards. And then we have Barles, who not only was third place in his group, but I think third place in one of the more competitive groups we saw this season. And he needed a big 3-0 to get to this playoff position against freaking Andy, who we know now will be in the quarters as well. So that was a big result for Barles. I'm excited to see if he can use some momentum here to beat a player he's historically struggled against.
Oh, man. Yeah, and Barles, he has to be happy, right? As you mentioned earlier, more of the guy that gets fourth in his group, stays in Platinum, not really the playoff guy. So this alone is already quite a nice success for him. But it just feels like Villese, he feels so clean. And look at that early, nice advantage, taking away 2 sheeps from Gojaras.
Yeah, I do really like the Mongols pick on this map. I wonder if Barles expected it, because it feels like Gurjaras was kind of a later pick. I think Lithuanians was his second pick. So maybe I could see Barles maybe going Lithuanians on Socotra instead, because I think he did that in the group stage against Hara, but or Hera, sorry. I just combined Gurjara and Hera and made it Hara. So Mongol scouting bonus at play here. Villese forward steals some sheep. Also, we'll have the hunt bonus. Still really feel like the start is going to be the strongest thing here for the Mongols with all that food income.
Yeah, and those 2 sheep, most of the time, it's not really worth a lot. But against Gojaras, kind of the shift that it might hurt the most to steal 2 sheep.
Yeah, fair point. I'm sure Barles would prefer to have those sheep in the mill forever. It's only going to be 6 sheep inside the mill. Map is open here. You expect aggression. Is there a world where we maybe see some funky man-at-arm play here from the Mongols? You don't see that too frequently, but I think because it would be unexpected and because maybe you want to apply pressure to the berries right away, some players might consider it.
I actually don't mind it too much against Gojaras because, well, you can simply maybe take some damage against the mill. The problem is he didn't really scout it, right? He doesn't know how the mill is positioned.
Yeah.
So therefore, I believe it is more likely to be a scout play.
Yeah, makes sense. Is transferring a 4th to wood, though, which might make him consider a barracks at some point. And he does have a villager going to gold already. Oh my god, this is going to be super fast archers.
Oh, wow. What is that? Pop 17. Pop 18 is what he's lining up. The question mark, will it be with or without loom?
I mean, I am all about the no loom with the Mongols. I think that you're up so quickly, it's unlikely that you're going to lose a villager as long as if you have a single villager somewhere, that villager is walled in. So that would be the gold. Yeah, I think if it was against any other civilization, Villese would be happy to just go scouts here, but going into a stable build against the Gurjaras is a bit scary for the Mongols, right? Because the Gurjaras have the camels that do additional bonus damage. And they also have then the Shravamsha Rider, which can kind of help out against any archers in Castle Age. So being able to play fully through your stable would make life a little bit too smooth and too easy for the Gurjaras. Villese is just going to switch it up with a crazy build here. Is he going double lumber camp too?
Looks like it, yeah.
Oh.
That's pretty sick. And yeah, indeed, did delay loom till the end. Obviously, against Gojaras, you can delay loom a bit more because that camel is so incredibly weak in Dark Age.
Yeah, and still at home, just trying to push in deer now. And Barles was doing the same. Barles will go up on what he probably feels is a very fast uptime. 19 pop. And he's going to stick with 1 lumber camp. Wood situation, kind of awful for both. That does happen on Graveyards. The 1 lumber camp approach will eventually be kind of awkward here for Barles, though. And honestly, you kind of go 1 lumber camp and you wall up because you're expecting the potential for man-at-arms or scouts. The way Barles is playing this actually is very poor against the economic approach and the archer approach from Villese.
And if Barles opens scouts, that's really ugly. Like, then berries are tricky, woodlines not really something we can do with. If Barles just goes skirm defense, the opening would be better for him.
Yeah, he just doesn't know enough right now because he came home. So, that's another common thing on this map, especially when you get lamed, you want to push in the extra deer. So, what do you think about taking the sheep out of the mill at some point here? Do you do that with the Gurjaras, or do you just leave them in there?
Obviously, it's not linear, right? So, like 6 pick 6, it's generating less food than pick 1. So the more that you have, it is fine to take some out. Especially if you're lacking food under your town center. Sometimes if you want to go up to Castle Age, just take 2 pigs and go to Castle Age makes a lot of sense.
Okay, yeah. I mean, for me, I personally have been pulling them out when I run out of the food underneath the TC, which I guess for now, Barles is okay there. But scout opening for Barles has not found his opponent at all yet. And Villese is already moving forward here with the Archer and the Spearman. And, oh, this is... I could see it happening because it's Villese, right? Like, it feels like this is going to be so annoying for Barles to deal with.
Nice houses, though, right? They really, like, build a natural wall around that mill. Pressure will be tricky, but still, Barles is already starting to farm. If he were to drop, like, 2 more farms... That would be horrible because it delays the archer range. But look at that, Barles knows.
Nice scouting. Yeah, really nice scouting. That's the most important timing there. And now is actually when you don't need the farms if you pull the pigs, too, right? We'll see if he does that. But he's going to have his camel scout, which does a lot of damage to the starting scout, or any scout for that matter from Villese. He knows archers and spearmen are coming forward. He avoids the shots. He heads past all this. And he'll have skirms in a moment. This actually is looking pretty good for Barles.
Yeah, those archers will harass a bit, tickle a bit, but very unlikely that we see a unit die here if Barles can help it.
Yeah, Barles sees the archer and the spearman, micros away from it, nice, kills the archer, kills the spearman, doesn't lose a unit, and now the only attack for Villese is the other group of archer spearmen, but there's going to be skirms out soon. So initially, because I get so stressed out against the early archers myself, I was letting that get to me here. But this has been really well played from Barles.
Yeah, really solid. Gets a shot in there as well, but missed it with the skirmisher. Barles not taking any unnecessary hit. Look at that.
Yeah.
Really nice micro.
Camel Scout also pulled against the scout there. And Barles hasn't lost a unit yet. Barles has massacred Villese. 4 kills, 0 deaths for Barles. Also, less idle TC time. And this was the thing, right? It's like, we have seen Barles in the past lose to Villese in various events over the last 3 years. But the peak that he had to bring to beat Andy, who's now going to be in the quarterfinal, who beat Hera and beat Jordan in that group, he really had to be on top of it, Nilly. He really had to be firing, and he's looking sharp here to start off the series here.
Yeah, have to love it. Skirm production continues. Wouldn't be surprised to see a blacksmith pretty soon. Fletching would really add something as well.
Yeah. Now, on Arabia, what you're normally seeing is a stable, and Villese has done that already, because you need something to add some value against those skirms, and it's still not going to be easy fighting here for Barles, especially because there's 2 scouts forward, but nice micro again as he kills another spearman.
5-0 KD. Have to love it.
Yeah, also going to another woodline, which is good forward thinking, I think, from him. His farming eco is looking pretty good. Farming eco is looking pretty good for Villese as well, though. And it feels like players, if you were to ask them, would always prefer to have the scout archer versus the scout skirm, because the scouts on the scout skirm side take more damage from the range units.
Yeah, but the scout skirm for Gujaras has an easier transition into camel skirm.
Yep, true.
I think Barles has too many on wood now. 18 on wood. I think that was a bit of an overreaction. I think he pulled too many wood away from his stragglers.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe we'll have to pull villagers from the lumber camp and farm around the mill. He is pulling out pigs now. What I've liked from Barles, obviously the kills are great, but I've really liked how he has tracked Villese throughout the middle of the map. Like, initially, there was 2 instances where he could have accidentally been hit by spearmen and the archers, or he could have not known where the units were going to go. And he tracked it the whole way through, and I think that's really hard to do as a player, and something that we should give him a lot of credit for here. Yeah, especially when your opponent's walled, right? Like, Villese is mostly walled, and Barles gets killed number 6.
Perfect game.
Yep. Microing up the hill here. Fletching is in for him, though. He's just buying himself a bit of time so he can house wall. Love the confidence as well. Not really palisade walling a lot. I'm sure he'll want to go for palisade walls, though. And Villese is now lost 7 units in this game without getting a single kill.
Make it 8 soon.
Wow, what's the res collected like in this game? It's very close. Villese with the lead, at least with the gold collected. But with the food eco that Barles has, especially if he starts to add a few more farms, it could be good. But this feudal age fight could still go either way, especially now that that camel scout's out of the picture here.
Let's take a look. Bloodlines on the way for Villese. 7 scouts already. Skirm still scaring those archers further away.
Yeah, so Bloodline scouts. I feel like normally you're just thinking Castle Age from here, right? This is a lot of army for a Graveyards game. It feels very Lands Madness-like, even though the maps have actually played out very differently. In some cases, anyways. Bloodlines will be in. Villese will want to take the fight, but there's more spears from Barles. God, this is so close, Nilly. This fight could go either way. I prefer the army for Villese, though.
Yeah, it's way better, and Barles knows that. He's just trying to run. He's trying to intercept now. Scouts to the front, and he needs to quick wall the right-hand side. 4 houses. He's even pulling more villagers. Right decision.
Yeah, seriously. And now his scouts could actually get some value at Villese's base as well. And man, the level is so high here. This is so good. I'm so jealous, too. Like,
overchop at the top. Those scouts could get in against the villagers at the top.
Does Barles even know to go there? He's paying attention at home. And yeah, the Bloodline scouts are unable to dive because the Spearmen and the TC fire. Villese doesn't see the scouts, so he should be looking, in theory, right, to see, is he going to take damage at home? And the scouts are going to get in! This is huge! Oh, disaster for Villese, who hasn't been able to do any damage against Barles here. He'll lose 2 vills at least, but it should be more.
Let's take a look. Are we building anything? Oh god, more villagers fighting. Oh, this is horrible for Villese.
Yeah, seriously. Spearmen are on the way back. They were on the front of the base. Honestly, could have been worse for him.
Yeah.
But I'm really impressed with the macro and the micro from Barles here. He's actually just going to go in for the spears. Well played. He's still on the gold. And he's defending at home. Oh, there's an overshot! Ah!
Spearmen are around, walling behind us, so archers are not coming in.
Oh!
Spearmen need to take the fight, but villagers still have to run. Oh, that's a big clear up against the skirms.
The overchop giveth, the overchop taketh away for Barles. Oh my god. I mean, this is extremely messy for both players right now. If the archers were in, this could be over for Barles.
Yeah, 100%. Scouts still fighting on the other side against some spearmen, taking yet another engagement. Oh, that's the Bloodline Scouts soon with the armor.
Yeah, the spears will get some hits, which is good. Barles making a mad dash to get a house. He needs the house foundation down. It's worth it to just mash this down, even if you lose a couple more vills. And he's actually saved the one for now. Oh my goodness. Where's the camel? Where's the Servamsha? Where's something for Barles to clear this up? Villese 15 seconds away from Castle Age. At the end of the day, I guess it's going to even out here economically. Because both players have taken some big losses.
Barles could have built a camel on the way to Castle Age already. Yep. And I think it would have been nicer with the defense, but maybe wanted to save the resources because obviously he knew he was losing quite a bit. Shivamsa's now moving out and those skirmishers are chasing the archers away.
Yeah, now Barles needs to relocate his lumberjacks because they are not working on any trees whatsoever. He has no wood income, which will be awful for him if he needs to get more TCs up or more farms later. But after the dust has settled, the Eco KD was 5-4. Really important that Villese found that damage, though. Like, if Barles had that walled up, I think Barles would be in a much better position right now.
Yeah, certainly. Still 5 villagers ahead. Nice moves there. And neither player with wheelbarrow. Only one more farm upgrade for Barles.
A little surprised that Barles isn't making his own camels here. But I guess he didn't expect the camels from Villese. Shravamshas are a unit that's not going to be so good against the camels. It will be good against the crossbows. But I don't know if this is a situation where you could just only make Shravamshas. Like, even maybe some monks could be helpful to convert the camels.
Interesting. No more skirm production, and yeah, indeed. We need to rewall this one ASAP. Crossbows can still be annoying. Shravamshas maybe send 2-3 for the counterattack, or is he grouping up to maybe get a clear up?
Yeah, I think he just wants to clear up. But, I mean, for now, he's got gold in the wood in the back, right? He doesn't actually need to take the forward gold. What he can do is take fights like he's taking now against the reinforcements from Villese. You gotta remember...
See how much damage a camel is doing.
Like, the crossbow the crossbows don't have bodkin arrows, so I feel like the crossbows are the least important unit right now for Villese. The Shravamshas are super speedy, and there the Shravamshas kill a camel. The Shravamshas could run it right through Villese's TC, and right into his woodline, his gold, and everything. This could be awkward to defend.
Camels are chasing this one down, though. Would mean you lose every single Shivamsha. Yeah, he thinks better of it and rather wants to get home.
Yeah. Second TC for Barles, who has the eco lead. We'll expand that. Love the house wall. There's 0 palisades on the right. So that is the wrong side for Villese to be on. And, you know, the timing was right for Barles to build this TC because Villese shifted over there. And I'm just impressed because I can't even think of specific sets, but it was what, like 8 series wins, 0 losses for Villese against Barles, and it was like 15 wins and 3 total losses in all the games. This does not feel like that right now from Barles. This feels like Barles has upped his level, and he is in a position to maybe be able to win against Villese today.
Barles seems struggling to find a proper woodline now. Look at how inefficient he is on his woodline and goes for some stragglers there, getting pressured at the front. Barles, yeah, he is holding his ground, but those Shivamshas need to find some damage.
Yeah, and he splits them up here. I like it. Pulls the camels and spears away. Quick walls from Villese don't happen. He does have camels following, though, so he should kill the Shravamshas, but he's lost villagers, and he has fallen behind in villagers as well. These Shravamshas could be annoying. There's still more areas to hit, but a beautiful job from Villese to track this. I would have always, like, lost track of one of them.
Yeah.
That actually happened in our series in reverse pick. You killed like 12 villagers on my woodline with 1 Shravamsha at one point.
Okay. Don't remember even. What are we, like, scorpions now being added? Makes a lot of sense. We need something against all those camels.
We need wood. If we're Barles, we desperately need trees to chop.
Oh, yo.
Man, Villese is so consistent in the pressure. It's smothering, isn't it? It just never stops.
2 monks now. Still keeps those 3 skirmishers. Let's take a look how much damage the scorpion can do.
Yes, Bodkin Arrow is in as well for Villese, who drops a TC on the woodline on the left. That's going to be a great spot for him. If he dives too deep here, he could get trapped, but it still feels like the camel crossbow army is just superior here. Ooh, man. He dives underneath the TC here, Nilly, to try and take the monks. He won't get any of the monks there. So not the worst fight for Barles. The camels are very weak right now. The Barles still continues to maintain his lead with Eco, and he's holding.
Really good fight, I would say, for Barles there. He still has lots of HP, Scorpion's still around, and Villese, he needs to run.
Yep.
And we are probably going into a long game here after all this aggression. Beautiful.
Yeah, and if it goes on long, you don't really think Mongols want their Cav Archers or their Mangadai, right? I feel like with Elite Shravamsha potential, it gets really awkward. Like, maybe we actually just see crossbow camel be the play the whole game. I don't know, like, certainly we're a long way away from that. Both players, though, with stone build up. Barles actually with enough stone to build a castle here. But still playing the defensive play. He's got monks healing, and Villese has to respect the conversion. We now have TC number 3, sorry, for Villese. That is a beautiful TC. There's a weak Shravamsha there. That Shravamsha could kill those villagers, but does Villese know about it?
Oh, will be tricky. We could be tracking it. No, okay.
Yeah, he just smacks it.
Oh, but Shivamshas are going there. No, they can't.
They were going to. They were definitely going to, but now they're needed in defense, and the Scorpions haven't really connected with the crossbows. The Shravamshas took a fight fully against the camels. This is an amazing fight for Villese. This is the worst possible fight for Barles at the worst possible time.
Oh god, pure disaster there with the Shivamshas. What was he doing there? Oh, lost all of them. That was the perfect fight for Villese. Yeah. Castle denied now.
I mean, the camels are all really weak, though. So the TC just kills 2 of them. It does feel like he might be able to complete this castle. But, you know, he thinks better of it. He deletes it. And I think you called it. He was going to send the Shravamshas to that TC, which is why he was headed that way. And then he was pulled out of position, had to defend his villagers, and the whole thing fell apart.
Ooh. And And now the castle not where he wanted it there at the left-hand side. Actually, shockingly low amount of relics collected. Only 3 for Villese, none for Barles.
Yeah, and Barles has not had time to think about that when he's been in his base trying to defend this whole time. Still do feel like, with the castle going up on the left for Barles, still 72 villagers versus 68. Yes, Villese is the one piling on pressure, but it feels more natural to play towards the late game if you are the Gurjaras here than the Mongols in this matchup.
Yeah, I think so as well. And that's why Villese tries to find some damage, but runs into the castle. That buys Barles some valuable time.
Yeah, Barles has had a scout around, just trying to pick off monks, but it's been hard for him to focus on that, which is understandable. Do you play like fast imp forward castle Trebor with Mongols here because you're so scared of the Shravamshas, maybe?
I think just containing is good enough, right? You know, okay, I should have a massive relic lead, and like the opponent is not really expanding when it comes to gold. You know, they have 1, maximum 2 extra golds at the bottom. I think just a normal camel, crossbow, contain, and castle edge is doing enough for you.
Yeah, I mean, he's done a great job. Great job from Villese. Converting the camel and pushing away the Shravamshas on his forward golds. Also being active with the knight on the right side. He could deny that TC. Barles has to focus at home, though, and he's trying to get conversions and get kills with the scorpions. This is insane level of play, though. Like, it feels like it's been even the whole way through. The Eco KD shows that. The idle TC time, the total KD, the idle Eco time, it's all so close.
Yeah, absolutely. The only massive advantage here is simply the 4 against no relics, and it might increase more. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe even 8 to 3? 8 to 3 relics is actually possible for Villese.
Yeah, but also, army count's a big deal right now. There's not a lot of army on the field for Barles. And eco upgrades. Villese is missing wheelbarrow, he's missing bow saw, and he's missing horse collar. That could be a factor if he starts to lose some fights.
Oh, now this is a really ambitious castle by Villese. Sends quite some villagers, but it's not taking the greatest fights. Crossbow numbers are low, and that means Barles could, with full camel, actually clear this up.
A bunch of villagers died on the right-hand side. Villese had knights sitting underneath the TC. Villagers are still moving forward for Villese. And Barles still 2... No, sorry, he's on 3 TCs, obviously, having completed the one on the right. And yeah, Villese thinks better of it. I think this is the safer castle. Just, you'll get this up, control the stone and gold, you have the relics. Don't give Barles an opportunity to take a really good fight and give him the comeback.
Crossbow count only at 4. How many archer ranges do we have? Only 1 archer range, 1 stable. It's actually crazy how Villese produces with only 2 production facilities all game long.
Yeah, agreed. And it's also crazy to me how Barles has somehow been able to take semi-decent trades, considering he's been behind in the army so consistently, right? It's just been stable units in combination with some monks and the siege. And it's like the scorpions, the monks, everything's kind of done a pretty decent job for him. And this is why Villese making the castle further back is so important. If he tried the forward castle, it would not have happened.
Another TC at the right side. Camel's actually arriving the right-hand side, but running into the town center instead of the wood line. Villese sees it instantly, and that raid won't find much.
I sense a all-in Castle Age against Imp situation here, Nilly. Because Barles isn't anywhere near clicking up Imp. Villese is going to be there in 2 minutes. And Barles starting to... He's not under pressure now, right? So he's going to be able to spread his wings and fly a little bit. Think about using the mobility of the cav. The army count's not that insane for Villese, and the castle also isn't an in-your-face castle that would force immediate respect and reactions from Barles. So Barles can now freely raid the sides a bit if he wants to. I'm wrong. He's gonna think about Imp, but that's good reaction from him, I guess, because the game slowed down to know his opponent is up.
Yeah, and felt like, okay, Castle Age without any map presence and without any siege will be tricky for me. Camels eating some conversions, but finding some good raids here.
Yeah, 3 different spots right now. Villese unable to react, and Villese now down to 96 villagers. Still just 5 or so behind Barles, but still camels finding kills. Camels are really expensive, though. So losing that many camels isn't the greatest trade. I think Villese will be okay with that.
Do we have the Castle Age unique tech here for Barles?
No, I think he's probably saving for it because he's not producing any units right now. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
So Chaturus coming in, and that means all of the food units are discounted by 25%, which is a huge tech for the Gujaras.
Yeah, because everything you build is food. Shivamshas, camels, maybe chakrams if you go for them.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not liking the Mangadai mass, or if you could even call it a mass, for Villese. He's only got 6. So Barles is going to have the time to make a lot of Shivamshas, and he's now going to save a lot of food, which means you could maybe save for the upgrades, like +2 armor, or getting Elite Chakram. And it is actually just 4 relics for Villese. I thought it would be more at this stage, but he's working on it. It is 2 for Barles.
Yeah, and I'm a bit surprised there. Maybe not enough vision there at the left-hand side.
Yeah,
yeah, he didn't see 4 of those relics. Ooh. Okay.
So, funnily enough, I think the last time I saw this matchup was in TTL Season 1. And it was on the Jungle Swamp. And it was... Was it Barles versus Yo? I think it was Barles versus Yo. And I forget who won there, but I know the Shravamshas won. I just don't remember who was playing what. Shravamshas are really, really good against the Mangadai. And heavy camel click from Villese, so he's scared about them.
And heavy camel is just crazy. I think you do +3 damage in camel v camel, but heavy camel v heavy camel is, I think, +7
Wow.
damage all of a sudden.
Well, I mean, the core issue here, though, is that the Shravamshas can split up, right? And the Mangadai and the camels are going to have to find all these little spots. Look at Barles in the middle there, next to the castle. He doesn't care with these Shravamshas. Doesn't even have Castle Age armor. He's going to zoom right through it. It's the fastest unit you can make in the game, unless you're talking cheat codes, I think. And I could see the game plan from Barles is clearly just to raid Villese to death.
Yeah, Shivamshas. It's so much easier to play Shivamshas as well, right? It's just you send them in different corners and they will do the job.
Yeah, and like the camels just found some hits against the Mangadai in the north as well. So a couple Mangadai going down. And yeah, this is like just the dream for Barles. You just produce out of the same building and click to different corners. Whereas Villese has got to worry about getting castles down and reacting constantly. And even though Villese has been very good in the defense thus far, I could see this possibly being an issue on a map that is so open. He cannot castle everything. There will always be an avenue for the Shravamshas to find some damage.
Oh man, and Villese had so much map control. Only 5 to 3 relics is not really what I thought he would get out of there. Maybe the nice trap in the back, but there will be some dead villagers.
Yeah, I guess that's the downside, is you trap the Shravamshas, but you still lose villagers. That is the area, though, where Barles will see Villese has most of his units. The outposting from Barles on the left is very nice. He sees the castles, though, so it's going to be harder for him to justify running under them in the long run. I would like to see heavy camel research from Barles as well. That way, if your opponent has heavy camels, you simply just match them with actually even stronger camels because of the extra bonus damage.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think the moment he feels like, okay, Villese has enough time to breathe and can go aggressively, he might tech into this. But for now, he just continues raiding and therefore knows, okay, Villese has to defend.
And we have Shravamshas on the right. With all the vision from the outpost, that castle's been denied. We had villagers underneath that castle get killed. The Shravamshas simply just run away. On the left, now we have more Shravamshas running in. And I feel for Villese right now. How do you stop these raids from ending you?
You can't. Typically, like, stone walls are an option, but not really on graveyards.
Yeah.
Mass camels is okay to defend, but you can never push then.
Yeah. Now, eventually, if Barles isn't getting kills against the units, the heavy camel number will rise, the Mangadai number will rise, and then Villese might have like 40, 50 units, and it might be the superior combination. So what Barles should probably try and do is use this time to mass trebs from the middle castle, and then when Villese is out of position, you start to treb down the middle castle.
Mm-hmm. When would you attack? Like 4 traps? 3 traps?
Has to be 4. Has to be 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's actually struggling for wood at the moment. I'm looking at his eco setup. I mean, it's 50 food, and 50 on gold. Like the guy is all in on resources for camels and Shravamshas right now.
Takes a fight in the center, but Mangodai on a hill, still too scary.
Yeah, and now that is the worrying number of units. Villese has 1, 2, 3, 4 castles, 5 relics. Once Mangodai chew through the dodge or whatever, then they're still doing solid damage to the Shravamsha. The Elite Shravamsha only has 90 HP. What makes it strong is that the first I don't even know the number, but the initial shots do not do damage to this unit.
Frontier Guards now coming in. As if camel v camel fights weren't bad enough. Barles just gets another advantage for himself.
Yeah, so that's going to be melee armor. Wow, so we're going to have one big fight here that might just end the game, in all honesty. Like, the raids obviously paid off for Barles, but it's going to go down in the middle here soon. We don't have Elite Mangodai yet, which would be a lovely upgrade for Villese.
Oh, really?
So he needs to prioritize that, and the Shravamsha is looking for a spot on the Mangodai. I wouldn't want to run in that choke point, though, if I were Barles.
Oh, well, you know that the camels will come from behind, but yeah, it felt like a very ambitious move for sure.
Needs to wait for the Trebs. Only 2 Trebs nearly. More stables going up for him. Would love to see ballistics for the castles, but Barles may be thinking more so on the push and the stable units. This is just like a dream game for me. I'm not like a real archer player or a monk player, right? Give me all the cav, baby. Give me all the stables. Mangodai camels, Shravamsha camels. But Barles is going to leave the position in the middle here.
I think he wants to pull Villese out of position.
Yeah.
It's surprising to me, though.
Yeah, I think you're right. It would make sense. And I think he's going to need to come home. I don't think you can lose the middle of your base and have success here. He is coming home. Villese's Trebs, there's only 2 of them. They are exposed. Could easily lose them. Still no Elite Mangodai. He's got to click that. There's a big difference between standard Mangodai and Elite. So 6+4 attacks, still something.
Big fight incoming. And that's really tight area.
Oh, God. Now, Frontier Guard should mean in the Camel v Camel fight, it's not even close. So the Shravamshas are going to loop around the other side here, but the Mangodai have done so much damage to Barles' camels. I can't call this nearly. I know the Trebs will go down, though, for Villese.
Oh, camels now finally can close down the distance, and they do so much extra damage. They are chewing through this. How is this even possible against Mongols? He still is losing this fight, but that was reasonable damage.
Yeah, he gets Elite Mangodai after the fight finishes. Look at all the little red dots, though, from Barles. He's found so many different avenues for attack. He's got Trebs on the right. I didn't even see that. He has Trebs on the right, and he's going to take that hill from Villese.
Oh, that's where he raided earlier, but okay, wow, you have a really nice castle there. Let's take that one away.
Yeah, and he's going to castle there himself, which then means control of the stone and gold. There's still the stable in the north, which Villese has paid attention to. Well played to him. Villese has to react. He will mass Trebs in the middle to go for that castle eventually from Barles. And, oh god, he's going to try and deny this castle. I don't think Barles can complete this castle. That is a doubt castle if I've ever seen one.
That will be some dead villagers. I think just running away, cancelling, feels very reasonable. Okay, reasonable losses here for Barles. Not the worst thing ever.
Shravamshas will find a Treb from Villese. So that is a nice find. That will slow down any potential push Villese will go for. But, man, I mean, there's also going to be a Treb from Barles going down, and Villese has held. This is an amazing Graveyards game. Shravamshas continue to run in for raids. Barles has killed 92 villagers and only lost 17.
Absolutely crazy. And we said it's way easier to play for Barles here, right? He can simply decide where he wants to go with his army. It just feels like Villese is doing a really good job of keeping his Mangodai numbers nice, high, and rising. But castles might be a big issue soon. He has 4 right now, but the one in the front in danger already.
We're actually at a spot here where gold income could be an issue for Villese. Like, his only gold income is from the relics, obviously, but then the gold right by the middle castle. And a little bit more to the left of that, which Barles will have vision on. So, yeah, Mangodai heavy camel's looking good, but if Barles has more gold control, and Barles takes out the center castle as he dives with the Shravamshas and will quickly kill villagers and kill the Treb. Could be great for Barles.
33 mango dice on the field, 21 camels to protect it. Barles with the cast at the right-hand side. Very vulnerable to traps if there were any.
Yeah, if only Barles knew about these gold miners, Nilly. The gold and stone miners to the left of the castle he just took out. It's a great castle for him to place, though, on the right-hand side. I also love the architecture choice, because architecture is going to help keep these castles working and keep them up.
Not the best fight here for Barles. Under the castle, quite questionable for Villese, but that could be every single trap down.
Oh, Villese finds every single trap kill. What a play. What a play. Oh, and they're just going to go underneath the castle to get the next one. Costly. Very costly, actually, that he did that, especially considering bracers in and ballistics for Barles, but it's still taking those traps was more costly for Barles.
Oh, he killed the first 5-1 without a single mango die going down. The 6-1 that he didn't get cost him like 8 mango die.
Yeah, and he's going to lose more if he continues to stay in that fight. And you still have Barles, who's getting crop rotation out. He's still got stone and gold on the left. He still has the potential to raid Villese. I'm worried for Villese's golden comp. I'm now a little bit more worried about his mango die production as well. And I'm still not even sure mango die is the greatest unit against the units we're seeing from Barles.
Yeah, but what else are you going for?
Yeah.
Arbalest?
Yeah.
Oh, it's... Tristan. Yeah, you would take less damage. But it has to be mango die if you play Mongols.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. You're stuck on it. He's probably has his best composition here. We'll just see if it works. He's on Hussar now, so he will try and raid the back area of the eco from Barles, which is great. And Nilly, I hope the rest of the series is like this, because this game is amazing. Still could go either way, but the difference for me right now is that Villese does not have any siege, so he's not really able to push any of the castle positions.
House Barles only pop 150. I think Villese will drop quite a bit as well, because the raid at the left-hand side will be quite efficient. Tries to get a castle up, which is an option if Barles is not directly going there. Now he tries to jump for it, tries to lure the camels away. Beautiful move. I think he would deny that castle.
Is he going to deny this castle? Oh my god, he lured him away with the other camels. I see what you're saying, Nilly. Wow, that's so sick. I mean, he'll have the trebs around as well to maybe take the castle foundation out. Wow, that was epic. What a great play from Barles here, who's come to play. He really needed that, right? Because that is the gold position that Villese has been using. The other gold we've been talking about is right there. So he's going to kill those Vills. Hussar raids, though, from Villese, trying to get into the back of Barles' eco. Barles sees it and drops a gate. But the Hussars will still probably get back there. The castle foundation that was denied at 90% will be trebbed down. Beautiful play, Barles.
So many camels, and I think with the mango die numbers smaller than they were before, mainly camels might be an option, but actually, now that I see it, we're back to above 30.
Yeah, above 30, and he's got most of them here, so the trebs need to get out of here. Maybe you just take the fight in these types of games, though. It's like, for me, it's make units and patrol. That's it, and I can't really think about the specifics as much. Barles probably able to do that. He is just taking the fight, and he's chewing up Mangadai. He's killing a lot of them.
Lots of micro here by Villese, but he also takes quite some hits here. Look at how many units are going down, and it feels like Barles has a tiny bit easier task to replacing them.
Yeah, true, but the population's not looking good for Barles. Barles is down by 20 villagers. The raids from Villese worked really well. Barles has his trebs exposed on the left. He also has stone for castle. Will we see villagers run over here? And the GG is called. The GG is called.
With a 30 pop lead, but no access to gold.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, feels really weird to see a 30 population lead, but he knows he's going to lose this castle, and he knows he doesn't have access to gold, and if Barles does, and Barles does have access to gold, Barles will eventually produce here, take the position. I'm sure Villese didn't know. Barles was at 150 pop. What a win for Barles, and what a game there, my goodness.
It was so fun. That was so entertaining. And Villese with the crazy pop 18 archer opening. And Barles actually opened scouts and still defended perfectly. What was that to the start? Like 7-0 or something, KD?
Yeah. And these days, if I'm up against archer opening and most people are up against that fast of an archer opening and going scouts, it feels like the archer opening always gets value. The scout opening never does. A great job from Barles to scout that in feudal age and transition to skirms. And then a sick job from him to hold in Castle Age. Like, he was so far behind in army value. It was crossbow and camel, all castle against him. He didn't have the relic count. Ends the game with it being 5-5. And you know what this reminded me of? Now, the real, like, diehard viewers will remember this. It's probably lost in most people's minds, but the end of last season, it was Barles Sato, and whoever won that play all three would stay alive in Platinum. And the final game was Ghost Lake. And the thing that was amazing from Barles in that game was castle positions. And knowing when to swing to a hill with Trebs to take out a castle, and when to take control of the game to build his own castles. And that's what did it. Remember, we thought it was going to be his initial Treb push in the middle, distracted Villese, and even surprised us with the Trebs on the right side. Did a very similar thing here at the end of the game, nearly, with the 3 Trebs on the left as well.
Nice movement there for sure. And remember, that was also the game where Barles wanted to build a castle and lost everything.
Yeah.
Right in front of his starting TC.
Yeah. Wow, great game. 95,000 resources collected from Barles. Yes, in the past, Villese has been the player who has beaten Barles. But Barles maybe gotten even better coming into this season. 10k more res collected, more of everything. My goodness, how did he do that? And do you think it was clear as day that his opponent was going Mongols here? Or do you think he picked Gurjaras not as a counter to Mongols, but because he just thought it could be a good pick against everything? Here we are, game number 2 in the final round of 12 match. And oh boy, we've got a big one here. Aztecs for Villese. One of the best civilizations for this map, at least over the course of many, many years, I would say. A civilization that relies on a lot of gold, on a map where you need to get to the center gold, but they're one of the best at spending it, nearly.
Yeah, Aztecs and faster production, you have some more gold, and Eagle Warriors still considered to be one of the best units in the game, right? And if you want to fight for all those resources in the center, it feels like Mezzo have been really delivering.
Both civs could be considering a bit of a lame here, right? Vietnamese know where the opponent's TC is, and then the players with the Eagles are normally moving forward. And actually, even though it's a side generation, which we have it set to on Golden Pit to make laming a bit more difficult, with where they've spawned, both of Villese's boars are in the same position. Like, if it was all visible for Barles, obviously this is too crazy, but let's just say he was Berbers. You could walk forward, snag both of those bad boys, and just walk on home.
Yeah.
I think that's how we know that this is not all visible, because that will never happen here. Vietnamese are a bit of an interesting one. Players, I pick them on closed maps. Players that pick them on open maps. I think the thing I've seen most commonly with them, though, is Castle Age Cav Archers. So
it's good, yeah. You have the more HP, plus Cav Archers are really solid against Eagle Warriors as well. So you really don't mind it, and you simply survive another shot from those Scorpions. So that would be the natural counter to the CA there.
It's one of those things that I don't think actually fits the theme of the Vietnamese civilization well, to see people going Cav Archers a lot. It just feels like a foot archer infantry civilization to me. But I'm also in love with Cav Archers, and I think it's such a good play that I would never advocate for a change.
Yeah, true. It's not really the identity. That what was changed as well, right? They didn't always have the extra HP, did they?
I don't know. To me, it always felt like people... It took some time for people to realize just how tanky the Cav Archers actually were. But there was probably a point. I mean, Vietnamese are... I mean, they're not as old as Age of Conquerors civilizations, but they're older than some of the newer expansion civs. So maybe there was a tweak, and I just forget.
Rise of Rajas, right? So the first Microsoft-sponsored expansion, I would think, right?
Yeah, because there was Forgotten Empires, obviously. Yeah, Rise of Rajas. So that was HD days. So that would be 2016 Rise of Rajas? Maybe?
Something like that.
Oh, we were so young.
True. Just the other day, I saw a picture of the two of us from ECL finals. No, what was it called? EGC TV finals.
No, it wasn't EGC TV because EGC's
No,
the
ECL finals.
Okay, yeah.
ECL finals. Yeah.
Yeah, I also. Are you thinking of the one where we were at the
Manchester
at Gamescom, or not that photo?
Oh no, that's even longer ago, right?
Yeah, that was like a year before that. Yeah. It's so weird. Like you see comments as well from people too if they like see old clips of us, of anyone. It's like, oh, so and so got old, but like usually there's not a record of people getting old and people aging unless there's pictures and you're on screen, right? So like I feel like the average person, in order to feel old along with us, should just take photos of themselves every couple months and then just look back in 5 years. Because I'm like, I think I took care of myself. Why am I aging so much?
5 on gold by Barles. That is.
Oh, it's for Bloodlines. He's going to build a lumber camp with that because he's a beast.
Wow.
He's going to get 10 gold. 10 gold. Yeah, this is the classic trick. We used to see this in Hun Wars a lot. All right.
Sweetie.
This is the first time I've seen this in a long time.
Yeah. True.
To explain, though, how that works, because I feel like it's lost on a lot of age players. If you have any resource in your hands as a villager and you make a lumber camp, a mill, or a mining camp, or a TC, I guess.
Or a TC.
Or a farm, yes. Regardless of what that resource is, the second those villagers finish building that building, you get it in the bank. So he collected 10 gold with each vill, and then he made the second lumber camp because he wants the wood eco anyways. And I think the thinking is here, he wants that 100 gold to be able to get bloodlines for scouts.
Sweet stuff. Still needs stable, though.
Yeah, that's true. And he is up really fast here. The nice thing is, though, you don't spend wood on your eco upgrades with the Vietnamese. You only spend food. So he was able to delay getting wood because of that, which allowed him to do the bloodlines trick. And still the stable timing's half decent here. So I really have been impressed with the build here from Barles. Also, the map is quite good, I guess, for both of them as far as their gold's concerned. But the golds and the stones will be in the back for Barles.
I think he kind of went for this trick because he could. But is it really necessary? Like, is this the spot where we will actually see bloodlines? Because distance is short.
Yeah.
You're not expecting the opponent to go for a lot of skirmishes.
Yeah, I mean...
Against eagle archers. Like, we need an archer range eventually as well. Like, I think bloodlines is actually questionable.
Yeah, I mean, I think on some level, it's not like... You're not just going to mindlessly go bloodlines here as he gets hit from the spearman. I think it's... If the situation arises where bloodlines make sense, then you do it. But I can't question it too much because having the option is nice, and it didn't delay every other aspect of his build here. So, impressive job
Stable was a bit later. Stable was a bit later, right? We saw the villager waiting there. He arrived with 60 wood.
Got it.
So, but still, like, he didn't keep the stable running at all times, right? So, I can see how... He might have been a bit earlier with the third scout, but
yeah,
well, not a major difference for sure.
18 pop scout build going to be tricky regardless, so delaying the wood could have an effect. And Villese kind of thought about going forward, probably still thinking about it, but as he tries to get his full walls down, the scouts are here already, so with how quick Barles has been to the scouts, this is good pressure, and should find
eagle kill.
An eagle kill, yeah.
Okay, nice switch. Thought about the villager.
Ooh, Villese is going to die. Villese is going to die. Villese is going to die. Barles doesn't see it. Disaster. Oh, that's so annoying. Oh, that is going to be so annoying. What a good decision there from Villese, because the walls weren't completed towards the TC. He's through. Barles doesn't know.
Yeah, he built the house afterwards.
He doesn't know.
This will be so surprising to him. Oh, that has to be that villager.
Yeah, and now, like, he is set up to continue with scouts. He never added an archery range. So he does not have a counter to this army. He could have used mobility to avoid this army, but, oh, that hurts so much.
That's 2 dead vills, could be 3.
Yeah, and there's still 2 spearmen in that army, so the scouts are not going to be very helpful, and Villese gets the damage he wants to respond in this series. Gets the 3rd villager. Could be 4 now, Nilly. It's not going to get better.
Absolute disaster here. Eagle, still high HP, can block this one off. Really nice micro by Villese.
Yeah. And now Villese, of course, has had time to take it easy at home, and it's hard for Barles to attack. And So had that not happened, I think Barles' position would have been perfect, according to his game plan. He could still micro with the scouts on the front. He wouldn't have needed the range to go for skirmishers. He wouldn't have lost the villagers, of course. And Villese had lost 2.
Oh, man. And now, how many skirms is he been going for? Feels like 1 skirm is doing the same as 5 skirms.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you could actually use your scouts to clear this at this point. The spearmen are pretty weak. Skirmisher's going to help out. And yeah, this gets cleared up. So positive for Barles is his eco's still been pretty smooth. As far as the farming eco goes, his gold's still obviously on the back. And the follow-up army for Villese shouldn't be able to accomplish much. But that was damage found by Villese that most players aren't going to find if they don't run through there.
Yeah, nice move. But it's simply like, it's funny how one single house missing can completely turn a game.
Yeah. And, you know, sometimes you just don't expect players to dive there, because if Barles noticed that and made a gate and garrisoned, Villese loses all of his army. But it was in a moment...
Really have a natural gate, though.
Yeah, that's true. It would have been a weird diagonal.
The tree blocked the diagonal gate as well, right?
Yeah.
It was the perfect spot to dive.
But it was also at a point where Villese knew Barles was attacking his base, because Barles was in the midst of attacking villagers there. So it's like, I think if neither player is really doing anything with their army, right? If they're just like out and about roaming around, Barles notices that, and so Villese would have never even had the idea to dive. It's really crazy, right? Like the depth of the game and the reason we had Villese do that and why it worked is so cool.
Market now by Barles. How many villagers are we sending on to gold? Villese sold his stone. This will be potentially triple, if not quadruple, barracks eagle all-in.
Yeah, and when you think about the CA play, which we talked about early, a lot of that is, do you have time to build it up? There's obviously some major core differences between an Eagle Warrior and a Cav Archer, but the main difference that I think is important right now is the fact that Villese can produce eagles while he is on his way to Castle Age, and he's faster to Castle. Whereas for Barles, if that's his option, he will have to wait at home, and he has to wait till Castle Age.
I think with this distance, just doing crossbow might have been even better than going for CA. And now he adds skirmishers. Oh, misreading the situation.
And maybe feels like just like 4 or 5 skirms with his scouts for now allows him to contest for a little bit of the map. But yeah, skirm is not going to be it. I also think that he needs to full wall in front of his TC here, because Villese has shown that he does not mind running past TCs. And if it's Castle Age Eagles, that's exactly what he'll do.
Ooh. 2 villagers forward. What a weird army mix here. Still the archers and spearmen alive. Those eagles will have an easy task. Oh, the skirmishers a bit on the ambitious side.
And if you thought that this is a lot of army for Villese now, the production gets even faster starting in Castle Age. And there's the Siege Workshop. That's going to be for siege against any ranged units, which is going to be the primary focus for Barles. The double range in the back confirms for me this will be Cav Archers.
Oh, man. And with only 7 on gold, it feels like this could have been a spot where longswords could have actually made a lot of sense.
And you had to have the walls down early. Barles, when he saw Castle Age, started to wall it up, but Villese runs right through. And this is, it was already bad, Nilly. This is just so much worse for Barles now. Oh, and the Eagles are into the wood line. Oh, God.
No. Oh, no.
Probably thought he built the palisade there. And Barles has got to be like, come on, dude. This is so annoying. And anyone who's been up against these types of Eagle raids knows it's so tough to get every other decision right from here.
Yeah, it just feels like this is too much damage now. You're completely out of control. And yeah, wood income isn't pretty. Even feels like he can afford a defensive town center. Wow, this is quite ambitious by Barles.
Yeah, maybe it's just like, well, it wasn't part of the plan. Let's just do it anyways. Just now getting fletching is an issue. The Cav Archers will not really, have the firepower they need. And I thought we were going to see Bloodlines, Nilly, but with no stables, we are not going to see Bloodlines from Barles.
I can quickly get it at the front. Decides to go for husbandry first, but feels like the stable goes down before Bloodlines for sure, yeah.
Yeah, and good job from Villese to put some infantry inside there, which means the ram works a bit faster. And Villese going to the middle. with villagers there. A bit of a risk, you could say, but when you have this much control, there's usually not going to be any world where Barles can counterattack.
Yeah, how? With what unit, right? One single CA will be tricky. Scouts are low HP, and CA, they are needed for the defense.
Yeah, well, Barles is going to go forward here. Now, of course, Villese is going to make him pay, and Villese will just take out his range, which means there's going to be one less building to produce cav archers out of. Barles won the first game. It was an amazing game, and it went late. But he just had a stronger feudal age, and Villese's beat him in the feudal age battles here. Nice shot from Barles, though. It's already going to be rough for him to at least get some damage. Killing a monk and a scorpion is a start. But I just don't know what he can make. Right now he's down a range, and he's going to lose his other one.
Mangonel needs to be the absolute hero here, but how? Like, that army is just so mobile. It can't just simply run away, and then you're sitting there potentially without even a single archer range.
Yeah, and of course the Villese could use the Eagles to dive for the Mangonel because there's just not a lot of army here to protect it. Villese is also keeping an eye on things towards the middle. Micros his monk away. Range almost down. Range is now down. There are the Eagles. Will they dive? They will dive for the Mangonel, and they will get that Mangonel.
Villager next to it to repair, not even happening, and Eagles, yeah, they're just moving out at the top. Very easy move here, and barely lost anything.
Yeah, now for Villese, you know, feel like he's normally got a pretty even mindset from game to game, but there have been some rare instances where, especially at lands, I've realized he can get frustrated, right? He can get annoyed with himself, and he needed this comeback victory here, right? He needed something where he has control and has maybe a little bit more self-belief in controlling the game after the first game, because it was like controlling in feudal, and then, well, actually he didn't control in feudal. He lost all his units at the start of feudal, but then controlling in castle in the previous game. Had the castles up in the previous game, and then it fell apart. So this is like, it's actually better for the player who's going to win this game, I think, to not win it quickly and build up confidence and feel for the game from a winning position.
Yeah. I don't disagree. This is actually makes a lot of sense. Like, this is very enjoyable to play for Villese.
Yep.
Just produce Eagles, send a ram in, collect some relics maybe, get gold control, just cruise control.
Yeah. At the same time, I think Barles will have already thought in his mind, I'm probably screwed. So, you know, there's no harm in continuing to try here, of course. And if he can make the comeback happen, then huge momentum for him going into game number 3. I mean, the army is actually getting to be pretty strong. With good attack rounds with the Mangonels combined with the CA, could see Villese losing a lot of his Eagles. So Villese does have to be careful. He's somehow behind in villagers too, Villese. Which is pretty wild to me.
Well, Barles added the second TC nice and early, right?
Yeah.
And looking at the score, Barles might even think, okay, maybe you're playing this one TC all in, and if I just hold, I'm in a good spot.
Yeah, no Bloodlines is going to hurt so much, though. At least he has 60 HP because of the Vietnamese bonus instead of 50 without Bloodlines, but having 80 HP in Castle Age would be so helpful against siege shots.
Okay, gold now running out for Barles. Needs to go for his other gold from the bottom.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe sell a bit more at the market. Loses a Cav Archer to a conversion. Villese has 31 Eagles. That is so many Eagles. And big shot. Feels like Villese is just waiting for a castle to drop in the middle. You definitely drop it in the middle, not like up here where the siege is, right?
Yes, 3 on stone. I don't think it's the highest priority for him right now.
Yeah.
And I think middle is the more important thing, yeah.
Yeah. We're not seeing him buy it either. Nice play from Barles. I mean, it's hard to kill this guy. Still staying in this 78 population. Cav Archer mass getting up to about 20. I think 25 is where you really start to feel like you're in a good spot against Eagles. I have no map to back that up.
We have 5, 8, 3. We want 19 CA to one-shot an Eagle.
19 CA, all right. Well, see if he hits
21
the shots. Yep, it's at 22. There's a lot more Eagles for Villese, though. Villese sees the other side of the wood line here, sees the Cav Archers, and this is just Villese full control. From his perspective, he sees every single move his opponent will make, as he sneaks in with 2 eagles there to the gold. Wow. Ballistics now for Barles. Barles is pretty heavy on stone. That is mining stone for a castle soon. But he will want that big fight.
He kind of wants to avoid the big fight, right? He wants to kill an eagle, move away. Kill an eagle, move away. But this is not really the positioning that is sounding like great micro. That's so many CA going down.
Oh, God, and he lost his mangonels as well. Oh, brutal for Barles. There's just so many eagles here.
Oh, God.
I think he was,
God, that hurt him.
I think he was distracted there because he was trying to save his mangonels in his eco. And he loses the mangonels, he loses his cav archers, and Villese ties up the series. That is more like it from Villese. 47 eagles made, 100 population, full gold control. And ever since he snuck through there in Feudal Age, which was a brilliant play, he had full control of this game.
I just started to believe. I thought he had 23 CA there, right?
Yeah.
Mangonel setup, fully walled, heavily on stone. I think there are worlds where Barles could still win this. And then 30 seconds of chaos, and Villese takes the game.
Yeah. And it's just that there were 2 things in this game that happened that were very poor for Barles, but it was like all a result of Barles shifting his focus away from the wrong area, right? He looked at those eagles there on his mangonels and his wood line, at least I believe so, and was worried about that. And while he was worried about that, took a bad fight in the north. So that's just Villese, creating some chaotic moments, like you said, Nilly. Gets the job done, score 1-1. And, Villese had a great first game, right? There was no doubt that he was going to bounce back, but a beautiful game from him. It felt like the Villese type of game. Control the whole time.
Mm-hmm. We have to question the opening of Barles, though. He knows the distance. It is super short distance, and then he goes scouts with a bloodline option against Mezzo. I never see that work.
Yeah, maybe. I will say this. I think it's really hard to be critical of the opening for Barles because he killed 2 Vills with his scouts and had those units not run past his TC. He doesn't lose a single Vill. So I think, he could have been in Castle Age a minute or 2 faster. The Cav Archer Snowball could have actually worked. I think it had more to do with losing those villagers and losing his eco setup than the opening. But you're right. Like, if you know your opponent's close and they don't know because they're not Vietnamese, you could maybe try something different.
Man-at-Arms are an option, archers are an option, and just short distance, it feels like mass crossbow will be quite good. And then with the later Castle Age timing, I think longswords feel weird, but I think they could have been the more reasonable choice than CA there.
Yeah. Here we are, game 3. Nilly, this was the first pick for Barles. Do you think Malay are worthy of the first pick on Socotra?
I only very recently learned that from Magugu, who heavily insulted me for not knowing how good Malay are on this map. It is so much about timings on this map that just the early Feudal Age, early Castle Age, and maybe in a wild world, the early Imperial Age just pays off so heavily on this map.
All right, well, Goths for Villese, and this is a very lame, heavy situation. And Barles will know that, and Villese just walks forward. He doesn't have to walk that far, but gets Loom instantly, so Barles doesn't want to research Loom, because researching Loom means you're then down a villager, because you can't be creating villagers when you research that. So, honestly, I kind of like it. He pushed in an ostrich, he brought in his elephant, and he's not getting Loom for the time being, because he doesn't need to contest Villese's villager.
Against Loom. I think he didn't need it, but yeah, Villese plays it weird, right? He didn't take his elephant yet.
You gotta take your elephant. Well, he doesn't see it because he went forward, right? That's the risk you take. And no way, dude. Oh, Barles is missing it. Barles is missing it. Barles is missing it. Barles sees it. Dreamland.
Oh, and he could not even kill it. He could potentially even
steal it. Oh.
Block.
Okay, so Barles has to block the elephant, and Villese has to block the Vill. And now the elephant gets blocked. And now they're reversing roles. Now Barles has to block the Vill, and Villese has to block the elephant. The elephant will have hill damage. And does this happen again? Does it de-aggro again? Ah!
Yeah. Oh no, but get the shot off again.
It could die. It's a Goth villager. Did the scout get it?
Oh!
No, the scout didn't get it. You could still eat the food, so there's a positive, but the elephant is very far away from the TC now.
Oh, the Goth shot simply took so much damage.
The Goth shots. Well, I mean, villager HP pretty high here. Scout HP pretty low. It is now a bit lower for Villese, and will continue to be lower for him, but that has changed now. Messy game, but what you would expect, I suppose.
Oh man, oh man, oh man. This is purely chaotic. And, well, what's happening behind the scenes? We have 4 on wood for Barles pretty soon, 4 on wood for Villese for quite some time. It feels like his economy behind this was a bit smoother.
Yeah. Villese did have 26 seconds of TC idle time, which is something he would have wanted to avoid. So that does mean he pretty much misses out on having that Vil lead that he would have had just because of Loom being researched instantly. I like how Villese is... Oh, he gets housed now pretty badly. He's still housed. This is... Oh, no, he just built a house. I'm sorry, I missed that.
2 wills at the front there.
Yeah, it's like...
wants to take the fight, potentially, against the 2 villagers at the berries.
It is the right play from both players. Excuse me, to take their hunt and just walk around. You have to accept the inefficiency because there's not a lot of food. So, you know, Malay, if we're talking tech tree, if we're talking castle, which would mean safe stone, which isn't really the case, Malay should be better than the Goths here, I would say.
I think so as well. Just, you get to your monks so much earlier. They are so valuable, and Goth, not the greatest monks for sure. And, well, as we mentioned earlier, you're kind of losing your bonuses once you reach late feudal age.
Yep. Both players Vil fighting, both players with similar amounts of idle time here. Obviously, you do not want to lose villagers, and Villese is very close to losing one. Barles is trying to block. I think that villager can just get a hit, and yeah, that villager is going to die eventually. I think.
Oh, that's tricky.
What do you
think? Oh, nice gate.
Oh, that was
Nice.
really well played. That was really well played from Barles. Now he's got to be careful though, because now these 2 villagers are weak. Yeah, not the type of game that a lot of players are going to enjoy, but Barles and Villese both doing a pretty good job at it. The only unit killed was that villager there. And they still have to collect resources. They still have to continue to produce out of their town center. Barles, like we said, has done a better job at that. So props to Barles here, who could click up the feudal age soon. My goodness.
Really solid economy. And then he could maybe get a tower up and block the berries.
Yeah, this is all that Black Forest Vil fighting on the flanks from Barles here, right? Like, all the Black Forest games he likes to play. He's no stranger to the Vil War. And he will drop a barracks. Don't lose your scout, Barles. Yes. The scout was just attacking the house. Here comes Villese, but Villese's going to be outnumbered, but there's weak villagers there. Oh my goodness. Yeah, just
so low.
Send the weak villagers to something else and bring the healthy villagers to the berries.
That's what he's doing. Another fight here. Loses some HP. Micros them away quite nicely. Damn, this guy's experienced.
Yeah. No militia, though. Oh, nope, there is a militia. I feel like 1 or 2. You don't need to go for man-at-arms. Just 1 or 2 units in combination with your villagers could maybe change the game. Villese had like 8 Vils in queue. He just cancels them. Still can't click up here, Nilly.
Kind of weird, right? Simply wasn't on berries early enough. Scout now attacking the house. 2 villagers attacking the house as well. A bit of a surprise to me that he wants to prioritize that, but would house Villese quite badly.
Yeah, and Villese still isn't clicked up. He still is not clicked up. He was very late to the berries, having milled the hunt, I guess. Scout goes down here for Villese. Villese is going to take 2 minutes to get to feudal, and Barles is sitting here on the hill, waiting for the wood for an archer range. This could be horrible for Villese. The militia are armored as well, right? I don't know how much that really has an effect for his villagers, but it has to do something.
Oh, it should be...
They take 1 less...
2 damage instead of 3.
Yeah. And it's a unit to fight with against villagers, right? Where the villagers have to be controlled in a very different way. So
Tower now controlling the gold. Blocking one farm spot, but that's it.
yeah, not in love with that tower. I think Villese will know his opponent. Oh, he could have tree hopped there, actually. Now there's a palisade, so he can't do that. Key here, I think, for Barles is going to be his economy. He's still got the farm set up. He still has the berries. I think as long as he just maintains control and pressure, I prefer his civilization here.
I think Malaya in such a good spot.
Yep.
Archer out now as well. Villese is still not on gold. Lots of idle villagers. This is a shaky game for Villese.
It really is.
Wow.
Yeah, really is shaky. And I mean, what did we say? It was like 15 wins and 3 losses against Barles in tournaments over the past 3.5 years for Villese. He already has 1 loss here, and he's kind of on the ropes now. But look at this. Villagers on the left. He's running out into the darkness. I like the thought process of, if I stay at home and play this defensive, I will lose. Let's do something. I like that.
And Barles, probably not expecting that, right? Goes with an archer, but misses the villagers moving forward.
It is open, though.
Doesn't have a lot of vision, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, I think had Villese walled this, I would like this a whole lot more. Villese getting Town Watch. He wants to tower the gold from Barles. That is the last thing Barles is expecting, is to see a tower on his back gold.
True.
Oh, man, and you got to pre-wall it, too. Oh, that's going to be such a good tower for Villese if he could fully wall that in.
Yeah, but still gold to the right-hand side. I think not the craziest damage. Just don't fight it, ignore the tower.
Yeah.
You should be fine here with your Barles.
Yeah, I think what becomes complicated, though, is you kind of feel like you don't have an avenue for damage. If the walls go up for Villese, that is. Because Villese still has wood eco. He still has farming eco. He's got stone at home. He does have... Oh! Nearly! Look at the scouting for Villese. He doesn't see the 2 tiles of gold in the back. I also don't even know if 2 tiles of gold is standard. I guess it is, because there's gold for Barles. But Villese doesn't have any access to gold from what he knows right now.
He still could go for the gold on the right side, right? He needs to build one extra tower.
That's true. But I wonder if he'll feel that is too exposed to try. He's just going to go forward blacksmith right now.
He is on stone.
Yeah. He's also bringing his skirms over to the gold. He doesn't need gold right now. He really just needs food. He hasn't gone back to his berries at all, which is a bit surprising. Oh, no, he's got 2 villagers there. I'm blind. Never mind.
Now another tower. That is the one that could maybe be addressed. Bit surprised that Barles isn't building a counter tower to this one.
Doesn't see it. Does not see it. I think Town Watch would
What?
have been a reasonable upgrade.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, that hurts to have to delete 2 farms, especially because those vills are weak. That villager might die immediately. She dead. No, she's not. Yes, she is. Huh. I like the value from the scout in the middle, though, and the militia. That's nice for Barles, getting some good hits on the skirms. Very nice value from the scout. But where are the villagers going for Villese? Where are you going?
Just click them towards the militia, apparently.
Yeah, just passing. I mean, the skirmishers wanted some help, and they said, we're here to help, but not so good there to lose so many skirmishers and so much HP, and Barles will have the hill. Barles could now tower the gold we were talking about, now that he has the hill again.
We have Villese with the counter tower. Wants to go in the into the tower war. And that tower isn't fully walled, but archers should be around.
Yeah, you can't attack that tower. Not with the vills. You can shoot it down, but you can't do this with your villagers and get away with it.
Seems like he's doing an okayish job now. No, he can't.
Yeah, I mean, he does have skirms. God, it's just so messy, right? It's just, like, not a clean game at all. Which is what Barles wanted. He wanted to pick this map, so it was a messy situation against Villese. Look at the resources. 500 food, 200 gold for Barles. And then the resources for Villese, while he has a lot of farming eco, he only has 60 food in the bank.
Ooh, and this tower for Barles indicates to me that he wants to build a castle later on. He clearly wants to hold this hill.
Yeah, that, a siege push, and Villese knows how powerful this hill is going to be. So he's going to try the same thing that he just did. He's going to try another tower so he can garrison and shoot that tower down. I don't know if it's going to work, but I really like the thought process from Villese to not just fall back and give up this hill. Because I think if you give up this hill, you will lose the game in Castle Age.
Yeah, you kind of have to build a counter castle, but what are you really going to achieve then? Militia
so
now
smart.
disengaging.
I would never in a million years make the tower Villese just did. That is so smart. And then you shoot it down. You force the archers away. Barles is on the way up. Barles is pretty heavy on stone there. You're definitely right. He would have wanted to make a castle.
Is there a wild world where Barles just pulled 25 villagers and builds a castle?
I think that's precisely what he should do from what we're seeing. And there's
more militia.
Militia. I mean, you get the armor upgrades for free, so you're going to have double armor in 20 seconds.
Oh yeah, true. Actually sick.
Yeah.
And then villagers and skirms only do 1 damage.
Yeah. And then you're
But your
fighting
damage
back with
output
your
is
own
great.
villagers. Here's the wild world you wanted, Nilly. I think the vills will come eventually for Barles. Just how quickly does he want to place this? Because this is still a good situation for him. He's actually taking good fights. He'll have man-at-arms in a second. It's kind of weird, but he will.
Oh, that's so weird.
I mean, Villese hasn't clicked up yet, right? He's just trying to get like some type of counter damage in. He's not even close to clicking up.
How are men-at-arms being added 23 minutes into the game?
I think it's something that is maybe Barles is regretting right now. I don't know. Like, I even feel like a knight would have done so much more. Oh, or an elephant, I guess, with Malay. You should be making an elephant. But it's enough where Barles is going to be able to drop a castle on this hill. And Villese is going to be completely screwed if the castle goes up. He's going to drop a tower. He knows.
He knows. And I think it's the spot, as I said, pull 25 villagers, delete the house, and go.
Yep. Yeah, just send more. Send your farmers. They're not going to like it because they're probably all weak from earlier. But yeah, you have enough armor on the man-at-arms to push back the skirms. Castle Foundation has not started yet. We have scout production from Villese as well. There we go. Castle's on the way up. Tower won't range all of it. It feels like this castle will complete. And then if it turns into Karambit warriors as well for Barles, Villese is completely screwed.
Yeah, well, Villese is now committing to full feudal age, right? He did forging, is adding scouts. That castle won't be stopped. Oh, this is brilliant for Barles.
Yeah. And maybe if Villese had a little bit more army in the moments when it was militia and villagers for Barles, right? If he had the scouts then with the skirms, could have found the timing. Barles is built up heavily towards stone. It's hard to get a lot of stone on this map. But he will complete this castle. And it will save a lot of his villagers as well. There's so many in there that are weak. And I don't see how you can play on from here if you're Villese. There should be no hope. The towers get shot down. Barles will have control of the middle area on Socotra. And Barles bounces back. He's up 2-1.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. This is impressive set by Barles. No matter who wins from here. Like, this is such a clean play. The decision making by him, when to move his villagers where, the villager fighting micro absolutely on point, and then both players heavily realizing how important that hill is, but Malay, simply the Civ with the timings.
And you know what I've liked about Barles in this series? Is he has come out and he has played his game. In every game, win or lose, right? He plays to his strengths. Goes for like the fast scout timings in the previous game with, you know, some quirky little builds. Didn't work out. Game number 1, macro, stable units. This game, fill fighting, towers. Like, he's not hesitating against a guy that he has never won a tournament set against. He's 0-8 in tournament sets against Villese. So, at the same time, having seen game number 2, I have so much faith that Villese is going to be able to respond, considering he has a home map remaining, Nilly. So, we'll look at the draft now. I think it is... What is it? Oh, it's Hideout. Here we are, game 4. Barles exceeding expectations based on what you and I discussed about Villese and based on the Wikipedia results we've seen from these guys when they've faced off over the last few years. Villese choosing to play game number 4 on the Barles home map, which would mean if he wins here, he then has his comfort pick, Hideout, as game number 5. We've got Portuguese, a civ that has done very well on Spiral. Villese clearly prepared for this. He goes immediately to the fence to free up the sheep and the cow. And then Barles has gone for the Lithuanians. Another pick we've seen a lot here on this map, Nilly. So no question on the civilizations they've gone for.
Portuguese something we haven't seen too often, right? I would think. Lithuanians makes lots of sense because you can build your dock quite nice and early with the extra 100 food, basically sending more villagers onto wood earlier, and then your food income is just so nice and early. On the other side, Portuguese, the main advantage is that you can build a mill into those berries and just generate a lot of wood through it.
Yeah, I feel like there's a couple bonuses, though, that really do click with the Portuguese. You're working on limited gold next to your TC. So with that being the case, you spend less resources on gold units, which is nice. A common approach on this map, especially against someone who goes for an early dock, could be a forward fire galley play. And Portuguese ships have more HP as well. And then, like you said, also getting some wood from the berries could be quite nice. So in theory, you play a little bit towards water, maybe go a spearman, an archer, and try and control the berries. There's options there, but I would personally prefer the Lithuanians just because of how easily they can reach the feudal age on the back of this dock build.
Yeah, I think Lithuanians are just really safe against a lot of other civilizations. Portuguese, I think they could struggle against something like Byzantines, but, well, obviously something we are not seeing here. And Villese with Portuguese as a very early pick, so he has put a lot of hopes into this.
Yeah, now, interesting thing to see here. When players are docking on this map, they are commonly sending 2 villagers with no loom to collect the shorefish next to the dock. And the idea behind that is you have 2 vills, because 2 vills, no loom, cannot be killed by the scout. If you send 1 vill with no loom, you will lose your villager to the scout. So Barles sent the 1 vill because that fit his build order, and he actually just played it safe and has researched loom already.
Pretty atypical. Obviously, every villager you delay loom, you gain another 10 resources. So, pop 15 loom against pop 20 loom, you're simply 50 resources down already.
Yeah, and I guess the counter is you're already going to be up in resources because you have the fishing ships first, so maybe it evens out there in some way. But yeah, you know, at least the alternative didn't happen where he didn't get loom, he went out with 1 vill, and then he lost the villager. So still having the villager there will be nice for him. And both players have pushed in some deer from the berry area, indicating to me that they will both maybe play this very safe and not mill there. I mean, they still could, but it feels like with the way the berries are positioned, it's quite an exposed area.
Yeah, I think so as well. Like, Villese, this is not easy. If he wants to go out there, he needs to build his archer range stable, barracks, all around that area.
Someone said, don't want to play a 2-hour game on Hideout and then have to go into game 5. If Villese wins here on Spiral, he can leave it all on Hideout. I like that. Because we did see a crazy Hideout game in the Doubt Tato series. And had that been like a game 4 or something, I'm sure it would have affected their performance in game 5. Have you heard anything? Did you have discussions with Doubt about that at all?
In the GL Discord, they talked about it a lot.
Okay.
Everyone agreed that if Doubt just went Elephant Archers, he could have easily won.
In the Hideout game, yeah. I did message Doubt as well, and I feel for him because he felt as though on strategy, he wins that series 4-1. But he wasn't able to execute in some things, and it's so easy to say after the fact. He's such a good player. It was such a good series. It would have been a heartbreaker either way, you know, so. Well, interesting. Now Barles brings the second vill because he knows that 1 villager in feudal age could be sniped. And he is scouting his opponent's dock and is looking for something. Villese is going to go to the berries here, which would make sense with the Portuguese.
Barles into the town center with his scout. Obviously not a lot of villagers around. Won't lose any HP. And now it's time to scout the berries.
Yeah. You're looking for a barracks here anywhere if you're Barles. It doesn't see it. Villese also doesn't see it. I think he has assumed there's a dock, but he hasn't actually confirmed that there's a dock for Barles, which isn't the biggest deal because it's probably assumed. A faster feudal age for Barles does make sense with the Lithuanians. Is working on 4 fishing ships as opposed to the 3 from Villese. And goes for the stable. So it will be scouts from him. It will be scouts for Villese here.
So no big surprise. The map is relatively open. You will have to expand. So mobility is something that pays off quite nicely. Plus, obviously, extra fishing ships means you already have more food naturally anyways.
Yep.
And it still is a map where we need to add an archer range because spearmen, scouts alone, we could see a repeat of the Land Madness game.
Yeah, and I feel like the stage of the game where players would go forward dock is probably beyond us. I don't think players will take that risk. Could be surprised to see them take the risk, but I'd be shocked. Barles getting pop capped here slightly, getting Town Watch, but not an upgrade that I hate here. I think Town Watch will actually pay off massively with how open the map is.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. You have so many different dots all around, and you want to expand further. Just so much easier to maybe see an extra gold just by pure luck.
Yeah, the spearmen and scouts for Villese may be thinking about the dock villagers here. And scouts actually come into the wood line. Barles, no reaction. Still no reaction from him. The scout's still getting kills, and that's because Barles is focused on Villese's villagers. So both players with exposed vills. Villese gets a kill. Barles will get 1. Can get 2. Could come at a cost, though. But he's going to get it.
Yeah. Cost of a scout. Maybe hit on the other one. 1 HP. Yeah, Barles just commits.
Yep. Okay. Now, villagers were exposed on the shorefish for Barles still, and army count 1 greater for Villese. He's got 3 scouts. Barles has 3 scouts, and then 5 spearmen, soon to be for both. But I do like the Lithuanian speedy spearmen here, I have to say.
Yeah. Helps out quite a bit. It's heavily undervalued, but you can chase down other spearmen so much better. You get into position a bit easier. Fighting positioning is just, well, more efficient for you. And you see 2 hits.
Oh, man, Villese loses the scouts. And look what Barles did. He snuck the dock. What a crazy sneak there. He had to go a long way to get that, but he will clamp down and kill those fishing ships.
Is it that important, though? Like, the later you go into the game to get that fire galley, I think the less efficient it becomes. So I'm a bit surprised by this move.
I'm more surprised that Villese is losing these scouts. He lost the 2 before. He just took some other hits with the other scouts and then lost another scout. So Barles has been taking amazing engagements.
It's looking so good for Barles.
It really is.
And it doesn't matter how you're playing in week 1 till 4. If you 3-0, one of the top favorites in in week 5, and then just crushing the playoffs. That's all it takes.
Yeah, it's crazy to look at this right now and think that, you know, back to that series that Barles had to win to even make it to the playoffs. Crazy. He's going to lose a villager, though, and Villese getting value from those 2 weak scouts will frustrate Barles. But now you have Barles on the wood line. More kills for Barles. 11 to 5 KD for him. Killed most of the fishing ships on water. I agree. Maybe not the most important thing. At this stage, what is important for Barles is that he scouts the fact that Villese has a range. We've seen Villese surprise opponents with an early range so frequently over the years. And Barles knows the range is out there. It shouldn't surprise him too much.
How many archers do we have? 4, 2 more in the queue. We need a reaction. I don't think Scout Spearman alone will do the job. Obviously, the Fire Galley can buy a bit of time. Maybe, just maybe you can jump on the archers right now.
The spears are really weak. Low. The spears are really weak, and Barles knows it, so he's going to dive. And the archers don't have fletching. Wow, to recognize the weak spears there is so good for Barles.
And archer count kind of reset, 2 down, and pushed away so heavily.
Look at this behind this as well for Barles. He is walled. Now, the gold is actually in an awkward spot for him. But being walled, with no real avenue for Villese to squeak through there, that will help Barles. Has to be careful with his scouts, though. He runs directly into the spearmen. Villese has taken all these berries. And Villese's got way more army on the field right now. It's going to be really tough for Barles to find an answer to the Archer-Spearman combination right now.
I think he might just go for a defensive tower next to his gold. He's already on stone.
Yeah, just walking back and forth with that one Vill. Is completely walled. Scouts for Barles continue to move forward. That's been my favorite thing about Barles' play this season is like, he has such a good balance of attack and defense. Some players get so caught up in defense that they give the favorite player time. He just doesn't give people time here.
Yeah, he's so actively moving with the scouts. In every single game, we've seen that. And might he find 2 more builds? No, Villese on point.
Yeah, seriously. There's still another wood line, though. Villese has brought the Spearman over. Barles is on the way to Castle Age. Villese has not clicked yet. Barles will lose most of his scouts to the Spearman. Still has 2 full HP scouts, though. Not bad. Barles needs another wood line, so he's going to relocate to the back because the archers are going to start picking away there. That is annoying for him. I think Villese will be okay because his eco's not going to take a lot of harassment over the next couple minutes, but the faster Castle Age for Barles will offer him a lot of options.
Yeah, then you can build a TC next to the berries, and you can still go for so many natural resources. But Villese gets more and more inefficient here. Already chewed through quite some of the berries.
Yeah. Also, Barles did have horse color on all these farms. Nice. So those farms are going to last a long time. Now, I think what Barles will have to decide on right now is, does he go for the gold that is going to be to the north of his TC? Because the army for Villese is knocking in the south. It's risky with low army control to try and go TC there. But I think your ideal TC spots in the future on this map are going to be in that area. I could see a wood TC making sense first, though. So you just go wood TC for your farms. And then maybe the third TC goes out for gold.
Well, clearing up the army obviously gives you more confidence then. I'm a bit surprised that he didn't go for a second stable. Might mean instant monastery.
Kills another villager there with the scouts still running around with these scouts. And you see villagers headed to the north. Oh, and villagers for Villese have been found. It's just coming in here randomly. There's more scouts from Barles.
Oh, that's so big for Barles.
Barles is everywhere too. And there's no spearmen in the berry area now, as Villese has the quick wall, because the spearmen were pulled home.
Commits to one more villager, takes the fight against the spearman again, and now one spearman alone, an archer unprotected. So many good moves for Barles.
Oh man, this is huge. It's falling apart for Villese, and Barles has taken the opportunity to TC the south area actually because he saw Villese went to the north. Villese's in the north looking to deny that TC, and the villagers are just not there. What an opening for Barles here.
Barles wins this round of hide and seek for sure.
Beautiful stuff. Knight on the field. Army count for Villese. 10 archers, 4 spearmen. Every spearman he hops out with here is going to die. He has no momentum now, Nilly.
Is he going to forging? What is Villese even going for?
Well, he's dropping the TC in the perfect spot, and Villese, I guarantee you, is thinking that Barles is going to run out of gold. Barles dives with the knights.
Forging coming in, sees the empty woodline, therefore knows, okay, villagers at the top. The other woodline kind of open, splits the knights.
Wow.
Oh, interesting move.
Wow, that is so good. Yeah, you're right. He should know that villagers have gone that direction. He sees the villagers. Villese can't get the quick wall down in time. The knight's going to find villager kills.
And that's with forging. Therefore, you 4-hit the villager instead of 5-hit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the villagers will be able to complete the TC, but Barles is so on point. They won't complete the TC.
Oh, that's so big.
I'm amazed at this guy, right? Nearly, he's on the berries with the scouts still. He killed villagers there. He's now taking an engagement against the archers and the spearmen. He's building his third TC in the north, in the gold area. Barles has been so well prepped every single round of the group stage of TTL. He needed a 3-0 to get to the playoffs at the last round of TTL. And then here in the round of 12, he comes in as the underdog, having never won a tournament series against Villese, and just won 3-1. That was disgusting from Barles.
This was, honestly, this felt so good how he played. Like, every single time I watched the Barles unit, it did exactly the perfect thing.
Yeah.
It moved away if you countered. Otherwise, it committed against villagers, got some kills. He was so patient against all the archers and spearmen. This was like, it felt like it was like a 2-player co-op game here.
Yeah, the last 3 minutes were literal perfection, right? The 2 knights dive to force reaction. You see the overchop. You think, he must be building the TC. Finds that. Also has the other knight on the wood line. Also has the scouts on the berries. Also has the TC in the north. Also put the TC in the south because he saw the archers and spearmen shift to the north to deny him there. Like, that's before we talk about, any like the 22 seconds of TC idle time, the early dock, which killed the fishing ships. I mean, Barles brought it to beat Andy, which he had to do at the tail end of groups, and he brought it here, and he moves on to the quarterfinals. I am really, really happy for Barles. He's such a beast.
Sick. This is so sick. Barles, yeah. That is probably the biggest tournament performance for him ever. Top 8 in an S tier tournament.
So far. Right?
So far.
So far. Because he will be in the quarterfinal. We'll pull up the brackets. Obviously, Barles maybe had a bit of a chip on his shoulder, maybe knew the Liquipedia results, knew that, there's a public prediction contest, right? A lot of people predicted Villese to win this, including myself. And I think had you put in a prediction, Nilly, you probably would have predicted he would lose this as well.
Yeah.
No shame in that, based on what happened before. So let's pull up the brackets, because now the round of 12 is completed. The third place Barles, at least from his group, moves into the quarters. And he will be up against Yo in the quarterfinals, which should be a tough matchup. Yo was 14-1 in his group, which was way better than Villese was. But, Barles is an opponent to be feared by Yo, I think.
Yeah. And this is like how Barles looked today. And I know that Yo is like commonly undervaluing his opponents and thinking, okay, this is not a top 10 player. I don't need to take him too seriously. I'm ready for another upset here for Barles.
Yeah. The thing that Yo has done an amazing job at is, like, even from week 1, his strategy was so on point on the map. And it's wild because I don't think Yo actually practiced any games, but I think Yo at least looked at the maps and said, I understand this now. Barles and Andy and a couple other players came into this season clearly having practiced everything. I'm real excited to see the Yo Barles series now from a strategy standpoint. Like, I highly doubt we're going to see a game in that series where we're like, I disagree with that strategy. I think it's just going to be on point the whole way through. But
oh man.
Yo Barles, one of the quarterfinals. Hera Leary, one of the quarterfinals. ACCM Tato, and then Viper freaking Andy. I think the big story with the quarters probably has to be Hera Leary. That's going to be a tough one, right? Both players always trying to compete to win. Only one player is going to be able to move through there. ACCM Tato, also pretty crazy matchup there. That could go either way as well, with 2 elite names. And then you've got the story of the underdogs. Yo and Viper are up against players that many people would not have predicted made it to the quarterfinals. So, Yo Barles will be great. Viper freaking Andy will be great.
We're in a really good spot in Age of Empires if the least exciting quarterfinal is ACCM versus Tato.
Yeah, that's a fair point. So listen to this. I wanted to share this earlier, but I feel like this is a perfect moment. I have not messaged him yet, but after Barles 3-0'd Andy, I messaged him, and I said, like, congrats on playoffs, so sick, keep it up, blah, blah, blah. He just said, thanks. I said, inspiring stuff, loved it. And he responded with, all right, I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, I also messaged him crazy sad, and he said, thanks.
Yeah, so I don't know if he's impressed with himself yet, or if he looks at those games like, yeah, I should have won because, my strategy was good, but I'll make sure to keep people updated with what he says. But the guy deserves it, and I mean, as the host, right? Like, you want people to take the format seriously, and you want people to show up to play, and Barles has done that thus far in TTL. So congratulations to him. And that means we've just got the quarters, semis, and the finals left, Nilly.